So let's think a little bit about Pergamum. Now, Pergamum was further north and further inland. It was a very defensible city, even to the point where there's speculation that the Persians refused to develop the city because of its military capabilities. And so, Pergamum was a religious center, and it had multiple temples in it. It had a very large temple complex, and it had a temple even to Augustus Caesar, and it was the first city to build that temple to Augustus Caesar, and he was even still alive during that time. It had various other temples, and it also had a temple to the Roman god of healing. And I don't actually know how to pronounce his name, so I apologize for that. But the Roman god of healing then made this medical center too. But not only was it a medical center, it was also it had a very large library with over 200,000 books in it, which is just an enormous amount of books for this day and age. So Pergamum was the center of religious thought, it was an intellectual center, and it was a medical center. And it was also a military might. It had gone up and down in its uh, power and its authority and its prestige over the years, but at this time it was very, very powerful. And the Christians in Pergamum were also facing the exact same thing that the Christians in Smyrna were facing. They had been excommunicated by the Jews, they had been denounced by the Jews, they were no longer under the protection of the Jewish people towards the Roman citizens and towards the Roman government. And so, because there was a very, very strong uh, Caesar cult within, or emperor cult here within Pergamum, the Christians were being persecuted. They were facing those struggles, and it wasn't so much the other cults that they were facing severe persecution from. They would face ridicule from the people who worshipped Athena and the other Greek and Roman gods and goddesses, but they faced persecution through the emperor cult. And so as the government became stronger and stronger and had more and more authority in Pergamum, the Christians, no longer being under the protection that the Jews got, were starting to be persecuted here too. And so when Jesus reveals himself as he from whose mouth comes a double-edged sword, he is showing his rulership to some degree and his power and his authority. And so as the people, the Christians in Pergamum, were undergoing persecution and destruction and difficulty and hardship, Christ was saying, hey, look to me. Remember who's really in charge. And that's probably something that we as modern day Christians need to be remembering too.